Man, we played a lot of really awesome music last year.
Yeah, so this episode is Pixelated Audio's Best of 2015. Welcome back.
Welcome, guys.
This is Pixelated Audio, the bi-weekly video game music and retro gaming podcast. We're your hosts, James and Brian.
This is kind of a special episode. It's expansion pack style, but we're kind of looking back at our last year of episodes, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's just a lot of tracks that you've already heard, but we're kind of revisiting them.
Yeah, at the beginning of 2015, we did a look back at our 2014 episodes, which we had started in 2014, so we'd only had like 5 or 6 months worth of episodes, so it was pretty easy to pick from. We only had like 12 or 13 episodes.
I think we did a track from each episode.
Pretty much, yeah. So this year it was a little bit harder since it was our first full calendar year. I think we had something like 36 episodes to pick from, so it was a little bit difficult, but I think we had some really, really good tracks this year.
Right. I mean, there's tons that should have made the list, and we were just like, no, we'll be a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more fun with this episode, and just kind of, play whatever we want as we are. So if you guys are listening to this and you're just starting your work day or something like that, stop the episode now, go home, pour yourself a drink, and just sit back and be on cruise control for a little while, because
we
and
already
James
started.
Yeah, we already started. Anyways, 2015 was a really fun year for us. We had a lot of really cool episodes that we did, and I'm really excited to listen to some of this music again with you and kind of talk about it again. That track that we came in with was called Samson, and that's from the game Black Matrix on the Sega Saturn that came out in 1998. And it's composed by the Hustlers Concept, which is composed of Katsunari Kitajima and Hiroshi Taniguchi.
Yeah, that was our Expansion Pack 2 episode, which was only episode 15. So we had started expansion packs at the very end of 2014. So this was the very first one of the year. So this episode came out in like end of January. February. So
yeah, it's been a long time since we heard this together, and so it's a cool track. It's not like there's not really a lot going on. It's really just kind of a drum, bass, and rhythm section. But I thought it was a cool track to come in with.
Yeah, it's very rock and roll, and a lot of game music, you don't really get a ton of that. So I really liked how it had that garage band feel of them kind of like practicing, kind of getting ready. I thought it was really cool. I mean, it sounds cool for the game, and it sounds like a very cool game. So I think that this track was just a nice pick.
Yeah, it was cool because, when I was looking at, our past episodes, I was kind of going through some of the tracks that we played, and this track, for some reason, again, was like, oh yeah, man, I remember that. Like, that was fun. So go ahead and throw it in and start the show with that, and then kind of lead on into some of our more main title stuff. Yeah, so what do we got next, dude?
So next up, we're going to play a track from a really fun find that we got a lot of cool feedback from that we both got really excited about.
Oh, yeah.
It's a game called Senshi Nicol, and the track is called Search for the Crystal Diamond.
That was Search for the Crystal Diamond, composed by Tonma-kun no Papa from the Konami Kukeiha Club. Awesome track from Senshi Nicol on the Famicom Disk System.
Such a great game too, but I mean the music, like every track from that episode was so good. It was, I mean, this was a game that you and I instantly fell in love with.
Yeah, it was kind of an instant decision to do the episode too. It was kind of like we found the soundtrack and we were just like, man, I had never heard of this game. We played it and we loved it, and it was like immediately, this is the next show.
Yeah. No, yeah, you showed me some, you had me look up some playthroughs, it's just some videos on YouTube just to let me see what game you were thinking about, and I was like, oh man, this looks really cool, and the music looks really good, and when we got through playing it, we just felt like this game should have came here.
They might have had to change the box art up a little bit because they look like they're, I don't know.
And this was 1987, so that futuristic leotard look was really popular with the feathered hair. And so,
right. No, but the English dialogue in there that's actually in the game, because you really don't need to. The game doesn't need to be translated. It's all. I think it was all in English, right?
Yeah, all the little cutscene or whatever that had in the beginning was all in English. It was oh my god.
That's right. That's right. It was only one sentence.
Yeah, and then there was, if you have listened to that episode, and if you haven't, go back and check it out. But there was a whole letter from Konami in that was all in English. So
right, that was your read through.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny. That was episode 24.
Yeah.
Wow. Did I just come back from Japan at that point and find it over there, or?
I think so. Yeah, because I remember last time you were in Japan, you were sending me pictures of the game, like, oh look, I found it here. So this was definitely before you went to Japan.
Right. I'm gonna have to take a look again. I'm going back to Japan in a few months.
Yeah, I want this game.
Yeah, me too.
I know it's not cheap though.
It's not cheap, but it's definitely a cool one to have. And that guy sent us a picture of his copy. That was really cool. As soon as this episode dropped. So.
Yeah, that was fun to get listeners to send us stuff to show us like, oh, I have this game. You're not the only ones that have ever heard of this game, which was really fun to find out.
Yeah, but the star of this song and the whole soundtrack in general is really that Famicom Disk System attachment. Like that really adds so much depth to the soundtrack in general. It just makes it so much more fun. It just feels so alive. It feels different than NES music, but at the same time it is. So it's, I don't know, it was just a really awesome find, and I'm glad we did a whole show on it.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, you did a little breakdown on how that extra chip worked. And
did I?
Yeah, like how the sound broke down with the chip and without what was what. And so
that's right.
I think you can really go back, and if you listen to that, you get an understanding of what that actually is that's making this sound so great.
Now I'm going to have to go back and listen to that episode too, because I don't even remember what I talked about. Anyways, our next track. What do you got, James?
That's going to be a Sonic track. So it didn't
is this from our Pocket episode?
Yeah, our Neo Geo Pocket episode. So the track is called Secret Plant Zone Act 2. So we're going to play that. We think you're going to like it a lot, and we'll be right back.
Rock on.
That was Secret Plant Zone Act 2 from Sonic Pocket Adventure on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, composed by Maitaro.
Still an enigma to this day.
Yeah.
Still don't know.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out who that is, and we pulled a few threads and got a little somewhere, but not all the way.
Yeah, still looking, still searching, but I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be
I don't think that Maitaro wants anyone to really know, so that'll be the hard part.
Yeah, that was a cool track. I like that. That really screams Sonic. I mean, it's obviously, a remake from other versions and stuff, but I think it's just a really cool one. I love this track probably the most from the Neo Geo Pocket Color version of Sonic, and that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, Dimps, who did the development of this game, really did a good job. It was a really fun game, great music. So I really think that that's actually one of my favorite games that I've played on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which is a fun handheld.
Yeah, it was done very, very well. Awesome controls, awesome. I mean, we both played all the way through it. That was cool. That was episode 19.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, it was a cool one. So go back and check that one out. There's a lot of really, really good music in that episode. In fact, I kind of just randomly picked, this was my pick. So I was like, I'll just go through it and see which one I like. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
this is good.
I think that episode was definitely filled with a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, and even though it's a simpler sound and you only get the 3 square waves, I think that there's a lot kind of going on there. And then you get the white noise generator. Everything together as a package in the Neo Geo Pocket Color. It's just fun. It's really good as a handheld, and it has phenomenal sound.
Yeah, I would definitely like to dive back into another Neo Geo Pocket game for a full episode.
Yeah, do you have anything that you want to look into?
King of Fighters, stuff like that. SNK versus Capcom.
I'd love to do
any of those fighting games on the Neo Geo Pocket Color are great for handheld.
I got to talk you into a Densha Day Go episode, train simulation.
Yeah,
because the Neo Geo Pocket Color version of that was, or it was just Neo Geo Pocket, I think. The version of that was so fun. That was one game that kept me pretty busy on the train while I was simulating driving a train. Anyways, what do we got next?
So next up, we're going to jump back another episode back in time for our episode 18, which was on Locke's Quest.
Yes.
The track is the Archineer's theme.
That was the Archineer's theme, composed by David J. Franco from Locke's Quest on the Nintendo DS. And that was episode 18.
Yeah.
That we had both the composer, David J. Franco, and Swendu on.
Yeah, we are our friend Swendu.
Very fun episode.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's like such a cool game, too, and such a great soundtrack.
I know. We're listening to this, and we're both like, man, got to go back and play that.
Mm-hmm. And this was Swendu's pick. He's like, I love Locke's Quest. If you guys ever do an episode on Locke's Quest, I want to be on. And we're like, all right, well, let's do an episode.
Let's do it. Yeah, no, he got this game for me for my birthday, I think, and I fell in love with it. And he's like a nut. He's a Locke's Quest like fanatic. And to have him and the composer on, and he was just like beside himself. It was a fun episode to do. It was really fun. Yeah. Awesome track though.
Yeah,
the Archineers, like. It's so, I hate using the word epic too much, but like that is an epic track.
Yeah, the choir is so great. All the instruments, and I was just kind of blown away. I had missed out on pretty much all of the DS. I wasn't really getting into handhelds at that point. The Game Gear kind of ruined me for handhelds. So just hearing the sound that was coming out of the DS just kind of blew me away. I would have expected this from a console.
Yeah, no, this track too, I think, specifically really gets you into that adventurous go get 'em attitude. I don't know. This could be the theme song of the whole game.
Yeah, I think we had actually said that to David J. Franco, and he agreed that this was kind of like, if you had to pick one track from this soundtrack to give the overall feeling of the game, that this was the one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was just so much fun. But yeah, like you said, we both were like, oh man, we need to go finish this game.
Yeah, I got really far. I just don't think I finished it. It could have been time. I had other things going on, but
yeah. Well, it's hard. It's hard for these episodes. Every 2 weeks, it's hard to blast through another game when we have lives and jobs. And
exactly. So if you haven't listened to the Lock's Quest episode, go back and listen to it. It was a lot of fun, and Lock's Quest is a great game. It's kind of that tower defense kind of stuff, which usually turns me off. I'm not really a big tower defense fan, but this does so much more. It's like tower defense on crack. It's fun. The story's good. There's a lot to do. And it's a really good one. It works really well with the DS hardware.
Yeah, I mean, they really made a good use of the touchscreen. I haven't seen a game that used touchscreen that well. I mean, it's like the main focus of the game is touchscreen, but it's not bad at all. It's really cool.
Yeah, so what do we got next, James?
Next up, we're going to go back with another expansion pack track.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah. I know which one it is. Go ahead and say it.
This was a track that I had picked, and it's probably one of my favorite songs I've come across this entire year. It's from Valis, the Phantasm Soldier 2.
I called it.
It's the Evergreen ending, so take a listen to that, and we'll be right back. Wow. That was so good.
Good pick again. Seriously.
That was Evergreen ending from Valis, the Phantasm Soldier 2 on the MSX, composed by Tenpei Sato, Shinobu Ogawa, and Jizu Kurabo.
Excellent track.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think I said in the episode, I was just playing stuff on random, and this track it started out and it was so beautiful and soft and subtle, and then it just kicks up when those drums come in, and I was like, oh my god, this track is so cool.
Yeah, no, it's a little harsh, I think, on the drums. It's a little bit, a little bit piercing. It comes in a little strong. I think they could have mixed that down a little bit, maybe put that, the noise track down a little bit, but it was still just a fantastic track, really cool, a lot of dynamics, a lot of crescendos, a lot of volume changes, and it's just this really kind of grand score of a piece. And I think it was a good one. It was a good one that you added in an expansion pack, because I didn't really think of it too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so new to the MSX that I'm just finding so much stuff that is just so amazing. Right. And this was a track that just blew me away.
Well, after we heard this version, we actually went back and listened to the Sharp X68000. And there's Genesis version?
Yeah, I think there's there's like a super deformed Genesis version of this game.
Right. So all versions are actually really, really good. We like the MSX version because we played it and we got hooked. And now that's kind of our nostalgia, maybe?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, just for me, the MSX has just become such a system that was such an unknown for me. And I mean, there's so much I want to find out on this system now.
For me too. It was really big in a few parts of Europe. It was really big in Holland, really big in Japan, obviously, Russia, but outside it just really got no attention. So I think it was big in Spain too. So.
Yeah, I mean, and once I found out that like Metal Gear was designed specifically for the MSX, the NES wasn't like its first choice. It was like the MSX, and I was like, wow, I really need to give this system a little bit more look, because I'm a big fan of that, and just all the sound that I'm hearing come out of the MSX is just gorgeous.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff too, especially with the different expansions that they've added. When we did the Knightmare episode, there was a ton of different, versions that we were playing, and it was a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we'll have a track from Knightmare coming up. So.
Oh yeah. All right. So what do we got next? Actually, I think is it this my pick?
I think we're on a Brian pick.
Okay, so actually this is a unanimous pick, because we both wanted to add this one.
Yeah, we had a little bit of overlap when we picked these.
Yeah. So this is actually from Double Dragon 2 on the Amiga, and this is track 1, composed by Thomas Dahlgren and Steve Barrett. Thomas Dahlgren and Steve Barrett. That was track 1 from Double Dragon 2 on the Amiga.
Man.
Yeah, you know, this soundtrack, actually, this version, does not feel anything like Double Dragon to me. But this is one of probably my favorite songs that I heard last year in our episodes. This was so good, and it changes so dynamic. It starts out completely different than it ends. And man, there's so many just like power punches, power ballad parts in there that just psych me out, and I just get
Yeah, I mean, like the MSX, the Amiga is another system that I had almost no knowledge of. I knew of it, but I had never really played much on it. So I'm just coming to find that Amiga, you know, the games may only have 2 or 3 tracks for some of them, but they're like 8 minutes, 15 minutes long, and there's like basically 10 songs in one. Yeah. And they're so amazing, such great samples. I mean, this track is so 80s, and it's so great. I mean, I love that so much.
I mean, they could have heard the Japanese stuff, you know, on the NES, the arcade versions, and been like, nah, we're not going to use that. We're just going to do our own thing and just create a track and throw it in there. And this is going to be totally kick-ass, and people are going to love it regardless of if they remember the arcade version or what. You know, it's this was our 1-year anniversary episode, so we were really excited. So we picked something big, but I mean, everyone knows Double Dragon 2, and I mean, me especially, I knew a lot of Double Dragon 2, but I had no idea of these versions and the music to be found. And it's one of my favorite things about doing this podcast is, you know, taking games that I've heard of or that I've listened to the music of, and then find different versions of the game. Like we just did it with our Popful Mail episode, that like there was so much of that music I had never heard before. And, you know, you might come into the episode thinking, oh yeah, I know Double Dragon 2. And it's like, no, man, if you heard the ZX Spectrum, the Commodore 64, you know, all that stuff, I mean, there was so much amazing stuff. Right. And for me, like, you know, we've heard a lot of really cool stuff this year that we've both experienced for the first time. So anytime we do a show that is something new to us, I always have a lot of fun with it. Even if it's, you know, we look back at a game that we know very well, and we look at all the other versions, and we look at, you know, different iterations of the same composition. It's just a blast, and being able to share it with you guys is so fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I love doing this show. I mean, like, I'm sure anyone that's listening to this show, you know, a few episodes has found out that I'm playing a lot of games I've never played before, so I'm just constantly bombarded with amazing stuff, and it's just so exciting.
Right. Anyways, you're up next for our picks, because I think, that last one was mine.
Yeah, so the funny thing is that this was one of your tracks that you picked for an expansion pack. The track is from a game called Aqua Kitty.
Oh, yes.
Aqua Kitty Milk Mine Defender. It's so good. It was for the PS4 and Vita. The track is called the Aqua Kitty Theme.
That was the Aqua Kitty theme from Aqua Kitty Milk Mine Defender DX for the PS4 and Vita, composed by the group Electric Cafe.
Oh, man. I mean, I love that we're throwing in a more modern track in here, and it's so good. This is an album that I just... when I don't want to do work, I'm sitting at work, and it just gets me pumped to do anything.
Yeah, I wonder how they compose this. They could have used something like Renoise or something, but it could have been... I mean, you could have fooled me, and you could have said this is on the Amiga, and I would have believed you, because it really has that kind of classic retro demo scene feel to it. But at the same time, it's just got so much like energy, and it feels fresh, feels new.
Yeah,
it was a really cool track, really cool find.
Yeah, I mean, and this was one of our expansion packs, like I said before. This is episode 20, so this was quite a while ago. I think this was when we had Chase Bethia on, and we shared this track with him, and he had no idea. He'd never heard of it before.
We got to get him on again.
Yeah, he's overdue.
Yeah, he's overdue. Anyways, what do we got next?
So we're gonna move along to Battle Squadron.
Yeah.
Oh, that track was not that. That episode wasn't too long ago, but that is such an amazing track.
It was like 41, 42?
42.
42.
Yeah. So the track we're going to play is called Hiscore. So listen to that, and we'll be right back. You just heard Hiscore from Battle Squadron on the Amiga, composed by Ron Claren.
We wanted to play that for so long, I remember, and we did the whole episode on it, that and Hybris.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I think I proclaimed my love for that track in that episode. It's one of my favorite tracks I've ever heard. I think it's so like so full of life, and it's so like sad and heroic and so synthy, and it's powerful.
And it's only for getting a high score.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot like you have to accomplish to get there, but
well, it's a hard game, so I think they really treated you for doing a good job.
Yeah. No, I love this track. I love this game. The whole soundtrack is really well composed. You know, there's like 4 tracks I think total, and
not a lot.
Every
but
one
they're
of them,
long.
Yeah, every one of them is really good. There's that really bouncy like menu track or mid stage track that I think we even played that was like 30 seconds, but. All the music in this game is so well done. The only thing that I remember we hated was that it cuts out the channel when you're playing.
Yeah, that was the sad part. So you'd want to not. It's a shooter game, so you'd not want to shoot anything basically. So or else you're gonna miss part of the song. But
well, anyways, let's keep moving on.
Yeah, we got a good pace going now.
We got a good pace. So let's actually just jump back a few episodes to episode 37, and this was Shadow of the Ninja. The track is the ending theme, and this is just I could listen to this track over and over. In fact, I've listened to this a million times.
I think you actually said that in the episode that you just put this track on repeat constantly.
Yep. Anyways, and I also did a little cover of it in Milky Tracker.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, so you can check that out. The ending theme from Shadow of the Ninja, composed by Iku Mizutani.
Oh, man, such a rad track.
Yeah.
That was the ending theme for Shadow of the Ninja, composed by Iku Mizutani.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool. I think I said I listened to it over and over,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So.
This is definitely some of the best NES music out there, and it fits with a really great game too.
Man, it was hard.
Yeah.
This was brutal.
This is on my list to beat this year, so I couldn't beat it for the episode, but this is my plan is to try it all year if I have to. I want this on my list of beating
Well,
games.
you generally suck at games.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest at a lot of games. Racing games are not too bad, but
no, racing games you have it down, man. Like you are a maniac.
Yeah,
it's
platformers
crazy.
are difficult for me for some reason. Like Mega Man, I'm terrible at Mega Man, but I love it. And this
Right.
is another game where I got to really work at it.
Yeah, so we were at California Extreme last year, and I remember you were playing a bunch of different racers, and you were just totally just wiping the floor with everybody, getting first place every time. And then as soon as you move over to like a platformer, it's like
I'm like dead in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. No, it's a really cool track, and this was a fun episode. This was episode 37, and we had a lot of fun. Yeah, I really like this show.
Yeah, I think that I mean I love doing this, and this track it really reminds me of the Battle Squadron one that we just played, and even Valis, the Evergreen ending track, because it starts out kind of like sad and slow and heroic, and then it really kicks in, and then it just takes off. And this one especially just hits the floor and just takes off running and
I
just
can
explodes.
see that. I was like, where are you going with this? Because these are like completely different systems, totally different games, totally different music. But no, I can see that. It really does start out kind of slow, and it's almost like the credits are rolling. You know, this is, I mean, I think this is exactly where the credits are rolling, and then it picks up, and then you get all the cutscenes and everything like that. Yeah, it's a really rad one. Anyways, we got another track left. We have a few more, actually.
Yeah, just two more.
Yeah, two more. So this is from Knightmare, and this is BGM 1. This is on the MSX. So let's listen to that, and we'll return in a second.
The track you just heard was from Knightmare. The track was called BGM 1 on the MSX, composed by Miki Higashino.
That was an awesome track, awesome game, awesome episode, because we got to cover all three in the series. Super fun. You should go back and listen to that if you haven't. If you missed that episode, it's definitely one to check out, because MSX, we covered all the different hardware, all the different stories. We really got into it, and that was fun.
Yeah, and the funniest thing about this series is all three games are completely different. The first one is like kind of like a scrolling shooter. The second one is kind of like a platformer, and then the third one is an RPG. So every game is completely different, but they all have amazing music. This track in general it reminds us of this game. It's kind of become iconic for us for this game.
I think so. I mean, this is the track that you're going to hear the most, and that was so cool because at the end of Shalom, I guess they played this track for the final boss battle. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like, how cool is that to go back? You know, the composers go be like, hey, let's check out that first kind of iconic track and play it for this. I think that was rad. Yeah,
it was a great way to kind of cap off that series. So Konami did a great job with this game. It was just really fun, and the music, like I said, is just so good. Miki Higashino is amazing. Yeah, amazing composer. Anyways, I think that kind of wraps up the show today. We have one more track, but let's go ahead and kind of close it out. We kind of had a great year, I think. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of different really kind of new finds and a lot of different maybe well-known stuff that, you know, different versions that people haven't heard, and it was a lot of fun. I had a great year. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we try to bring with this show is some games that maybe people have heard of but parts that they haven't heard from systems that maybe they have never played, and then also trying to find some games that maybe no one's ever heard of that are just amazing, like Knightmare and Senshi Nicol and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we also this year brought in the expansion pack format for our kind of like off weeks, kind of, you know, extra. It's basically like a little extra VGM show to kind of fill in the gaps. And that's been a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully we do a lot more. We have a lot of shows lined up. A lot of different, I mean, seriously, we created this list of like a ton of different things. Like listeners have sent us, you know, different requests and different things. They say, oh, you guys should listen to this and cover this. And we've only really tapped into like a very, very minute portion of that. And so we have a lot of stuff on the horizon to kind of look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, with every episode that we cover, we pretty much find probably 5 or 10 more that we want to dive into.
Yeah.
You know, we find composers that we never heard of that we really like, or games that have other games in the franchise, or that are related to something else that we really want to dive into, and it's just hard. We want to find systems that no one really talks about, so it's hard dividing up between, you know, 30 or 40 different systems.
We definitely have some really interesting niche stuff lined up. So I mean, seriously, I'm very excited because stuff that I don't know anything about, and we're gonna get to learn it together and listen to some really cool stuff. But anyways, today we covered a ton of different stuff from 2015 that we played. You know, obviously the stuff wasn't released in 2015, but these are all from our shows in 2015. So if you want to know more about the show, you can check us out on pixelatedaudio.com. Please leave your comments, questions, you know, leave requests, anything you want. You can subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher, and we're also on a few different social platforms.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pixelated Audio. So you can find us on there and send us some games you want to hear, or if you've liked some episodes and you have some suggestions for us. I mean, we love hearing all that stuff. You want to send us some pictures of games that you have that, you know, that we've talked about that no one ever really knows, to show that you have them in your collection. That's awesome.
some video game, some rare video game porn.
Yeah.
Please send it our way. Thank you guys for listening. The track taking us out, James, what do we got?
Well, we wouldn't be happy with this episode without doing a Barry Leach track for the best of 2015. So.
We would have shamed ourselves for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had him on twice.
Right.
And so we have 2 episodes that have just chock full of Barry Leach music. So we had a lot to pick from. But we're not going to play a track that you might expect.
Right. Contrary to what you might think, we're not going to play a track from Horizon Chase, even though we love the soundtrack.
Yeah. Which it actually, I just saw that it had been nominated for Best of 2015 Retro Video Game Music. So, and I heard there's some other retro composers were nominated for some other awards. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Congrats, Barry. I know you're listening. So, job well done.
Yeah. I mean, it's an excellent soundtrack, but we're going to dial it back, you know, several episodes, and we're going to go with a track from episode 16 when we had Barry on for the first time for our Utopia Creation of a Nation episode.
This is such a good soundtrack too.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of tracks in this game. I think the most was the Super NES that had 5.
Yeah.
And otherwise it was like 4 tracks, but they're so amazing, and this game sucks so bad.
Yeah. It's like a civilization building type game, so it's very slow paced, and it has a cool premise, but it just didn't seem to really work that well.
Yeah.
We didn't find it to be too fun, but I don't even think Barry really enjoyed playing it. But the music,
I don't think so either. He was like, "Oh yeah, what was that game about again?"
Yeah.
We got to know him pretty well actually. We hung out with him at the Sony PlayStation Experience in San Francisco.
That was so much fun.
That was so fun. Yeah, we went out to dinner with Barry and some of the Horizon Chase guys. Then we met up with him later and had coffee and kind of picked his brain. And
yeah, we hung out at Denny's.
Yeah, it was the only place open.
Yeah.
And then we dropped him off the airport, and it was so sad to see one of our heroes, you know, fly away.
Yeah, it was just so surreal sitting there across from him at the table, and him just telling all this cool stuff that happened, like things that like no one knows about, like funny little things, people goofing off at work, and just funny stuff, like him talking smack with other composers that we'd love to get to know.
That guy's got some stories, man. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Anyways, let's get into the track. What do we got, James?
So the track is called In Game 3, and it's from the Amiga version of Utopia Creation of a Nation.
Thank you guys for listening. That was the best of Pixelated Audio's 2015, and look forward to the next episode. 2015 is over. It's time to move on. And thanks again for listening to our show. Shit.